So we have basically in geometry so far, we have the 2D shape and the 3D shapes. Okay? 2D shapes are the shapes that are flat, like a paper, right? And a 3D shape is shapes that have both length, width, and height. So for example, when you look at this rectangular prism, or when you look at a tissue box, or when you look at a binder, okay? These are 3D shapes. 2D shapes are shapes that are flat. When we're looking at 2D shapes, we're looking at measuring either the area of that shape or measuring the perimeter of that. So perimeter is the outside measurement of the shape, okay? So if you remember when you had the rectangle, right? To find the perimeter, you add all your sides on the outside. And if you're looking at the area, you're looking at how much is this angle, how much space is it taking, and that is the area.
You know, more in a minute.
Way more. Okay, so if I want to find the area or the perimeter, you will have the formulas right in front of you in that pink sheet, okay? So you're gonna look at the shape and then you're gonna decide, are they asking for perimeter or area? And then you're gonna have to basically look at the formula, write it down, and fill in the information, okay? Sometimes you're gonna have to find extra sides in order for you to be able to use, and we'll talk about that as we go. Now, do you guys remember what's the difference between radius and diameter?
Radius is half the diameter.
That's right. So a radius is half the diameter. It goes from the center to the end of the circle, and we use that when we have a circle. So if the first question is asking you to calculate the area of each figure, okay? So if I want to find the area of this, what I have to do is I have to go to the circle sheet, to the pink sheet, go to circle, area is pi r squared, okay? So I write that down. Area equals pi r squared. And I fill in the given information. Now, something that you have to be careful with is that when we're using pi, I want you guys to use the actual button pi. Don't use 3.145. You're going to use the actual button pi on your calculator. So area is equal to pi times 3 squared. And your answer is going to be 28.274338888, whatever. Now, the question is, how many decimal places do I leave it to? If it doesn't specify, right, you guys can leave it to 1 decimal place. If it specifies, you just follow the rules, okay? Follow whatever it asks you to. So in this case, my area is equal to 28.3, because technically it's 28.27, right? If I want to leave it to 1 decimal place, that means I have to increase this because that's a 7. And your units?
Centimeters squared.
Squared. So anytime you're looking at area, you're looking for a squared unit. Okay? Including the units is very important, and I will be looking for it. Are you guys okay with this? Do we have any questions? So did you do, what did you do?
Times 3,
You have to do 3 squared,
3 squared, that's what I missed.
and then times pi.
Pi over here. Oh,
No.
second function.
Yeah.
Do you always have to type in second function?
Depends on the calculator. Like mine is just pi. That's right there. Okay, depends on the calculator. You didn't get that? Show me what you did. Yeah, times 3 squared. Oh, you press this. Okay. Your pi is, it's right here, so you're going to have to do second this.
Equals.
Did you do times 9?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Are we okay with this? Okay. That formula sheet, the triangle, and I'm looking for the area of the triangle. It's base times height divided by 2, or half base times height. It's the same thing. So you can pick whichever one you like. So I'm more into area equals base times height divided by 2. Okay. So which one is your base? Which one is your height in that triangle?
The height is 7.8 centimeters.
Yeah.
And the base is 12.8.
That's right. So in the case, can I have your attention for a second? In the case they don't give you this, you're going to have to find it. Unless this is the right angle triangle and they give you both the base and the height. Okay? But in the case that they don't give you this, they need to give you more information, but you have to find the height. The height is a line that goes from the vertex perpendicular to your base. Okay? Perpendicular means at 90 degrees. Okay? So the height is a line that goes from the vertex down to your base at a 90 degree. That's what a height is. Okay? So in this case, your base is 12.8 times your height, which is 7.8, divided by 2. And your answer is 49.9. And in this case, what is your unit? Centimeter squared, because it's an area. Okay? Anytime you have an area, it's a unit squared, whatever your unit is, and then squared. In the case that your units are not the same, you're going to have to find a common unit. You're going to have to do conversion and change it to the same unit. Okay? You can't have centimeters and meters. They have to be in the same unit. Are you guys okay with this? So next shape is called a what? What shape is that? Parallelogram, yeah. So if I look at my formula sheet, again, I have the parallelogram, and it's the area equals base times height. Do I have both of the measurements that are needed? Okay. So my base is 3.1, and the height is 2.1. Again, the height has to be going perpendicular to your base. So the base is 3.1. Times 2.1. And your answer is 6.5 meter squared. Okay, so again, this is about knowing what formula to use and plugging in the right information and using your calculator properly. Is that okay? Now we're going to move on to the composite shapes. So when I say a composite shape, what do I mean by that? What's a composite shape? So in real life, right, most of the time, your shapes or the objects that you have are not made of one shape, right? So if you look at, for example, this stapler, okay? It's made of this and then this another shape here. This is another shape, this is a shape. So they're different separate shapes, okay? When you put them all together, they make a composite shape. Okay, even if you look at your headphones, for example, right? You have this circle, you have the semi whatever, the semi parabola that looks like here, which is the semicircle, right? You have spheres, you have the wire, which is another shape. Okay, so these are composite shapes that you have that are put together. So a composite shape, it's a shape that can be divided into more than one simple shape. First, you need to cut the shape up into smaller, more simple shapes that we can find the area of, right? Because, I mean, on your formula sheet, right, there is the area of a circle, trapezoid, triangle, parallelogram, rectangle, right? It doesn't have the shape or the area formula for this shape, which I don't know what this shape is. Right? So what we have to do is we have to shape into known shape, into simpler shapes. We then determine the area of each shape and then add or subtract, depends on what I'm doing. Subtract. All right. So find the area of the following figure. That's what the question says. The figure is this figure right here. Okay, this is just giving you extra measurements. It's not a shape. So the shape is the inside right there. So in order for me to be able to find the shape, I have to, this is a composite shape. I can't find it in my formula sheet. So what would you do if you are finding the area of this? Three shapes that you see there? Okay. So how would you split it?
Yeah, right there.
Right there, going down?
Down, yeah.
Okay.
And then rectangle right there.
Okay. And then you have a triangle, yeah? Okay. Yeah, so I can split it. I split it into three shapes. I'm going to call them shape 1, shape 2, and shape 3. Okay? So I see I have two rectangles and a triangle, right? And I have to find my measurements, right? I don't know all the measurements. So if I'm looking for the area of the first rectangle, I need, anytime I have an area of a rectangle, it's a length times width. Right? So I need both my length and my width. Do I know them? Length and width.
Yeah.
So I know my length. Yeah? Do I know my width? Do I know what this is?
13.4 minus 6.2.
That's right, because my whole base right here is 13.4, and then this part is 6.2, right? So in order for me to be able to find this part, oh my God, this doesn't want to write. In order for me to be able to find this part, I'm going to have to do 13.4 minus 6.2, so that should be 7.2, right? So my length is 7.2 and my width is 6.8, so the area of the first part is 6.8 times 7.2. I'm just going to leave my answers to as many decimal places as I can for now, and then I will round up at the end. Yeah.
How did you get the 7.2 again?
It's this part right here is 6.2 because I know that this is 6.2, right? If you look at this triangle right here, this is equal to this. Yeah. So if this is 6.2 and the whole thing is 13.4, right? If I take away 6.2 from 13.4, it gives me this. Now, for the second triangle, do you know both your length and your width? So what's my length and what's my width? Yeah, so I have 6.2, and what would be my length? 9.9, right? Because if you look at this, it's the 6.8 plus the 3.1. And then for my triangle, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So I know that my height is 12.6. It is given to me outside here, right? That means it's the height of this. So these are the same thing. So that's 12.6. And then your base is where the height is going perpendicular to it. So that's your height. That's your base. It's at 9.9. So that being said, my base is 9.9 times the height, which is 12.6, and divide that by 2. And that should be 62.37 centimeter squared. I found the area of each section. Now I just have to add them all together to give me the total area. And the total area was at 153.18. Is that what you guys got? No? I don't know, I didn't add these properly. 48.96 plus 61.38 plus 62.37. 172.7.
It's still squared, right?
Yeah, because you're adding. When you add, your unit stays the same. Okay, so what you're gonna have is you're gonna have the same shape. Excuse me. So you have the same shape. Can you find a way to find the area of that same shape but in a different section? So cut it differently. Okay, and see, you should get exactly the same answer at the end. Okay, when you add all of them. And